Illegal immigration continues to be a major issue in the United States, with thousands of arrests of migrants crossing border states like Arizona, California, and Texas. However, data from the Pew Hispanic Center and the U.S. Border Patrol show illegal immigration is actually on the decline. Arrests are at a 40-year low, with total immigration to the U.S. at a standstill, perhaps even reversing direction. But as contributing correspondent Ginger Vaughn reports, these numbers don't reflect the journey's reality, as migrants continue to risk their lives for a chance at a better life.
Less than 20 miles separate Tohono O'odham Reservation in southern Arizona from Mexico, an area known as Death Corridor because thousands of illegal immigrants have perished here, trying to make it across the desert. For Rafael Hernandez, a man dedicated to finding lost souls in the desert for nearly 2 decades, and director of Angeles del Desierto, this area is too big and too dangerous, but he finds himself here often, searching for what he calls lost desert dreams. When we met with Hernandez, he was very sick, but determined to search for the hundreds of missing people on his list.
Nuestro trabajo es muy amplio, o sea, no nada más es búsqueda y rescate, sino que también es trabajo comunitario con las personas que están sufriendo. Esa es una de nuestras más principales responsabilidades. La segunda es prevenir, o sea, dar a saber a las personas que hay peligros, qué tipo de peligros hay, cómo se pueden prevenir o tratar de persuadirlos para que lo sigan haciendo.
Hernandez divides his time between educating those on the dangers of crossing illegally and helping families locate missing loved ones.
Yo recibo alrededor de 10 a 15 llamadas diarias, así que vamos a suponer que a la semana recibo 70, 80 llamadas de personas perdidas. Lógicamente es que yo no puedo, no tengo la capacidad, porque recibo llamadas de Texas, o sea, de personas que están perdidas en Texas o en Arizona. Estuvimos ayer a temperaturas...
We first met Hernandez this January. He was traveling through Houston, Texas to share his mission.
Sí, buenos días a todos. Primero que nada, muchas gracias por estar ustedes aquí. A la señora Jiménez, al señor Juan Parras y a mis voluntarios que nos están acompañando. Venimos de San Diego. Salimos desde el jueves, hicimos unas búsquedas en Arizona y nos dirigimos hacia acá. Venimos muy cansados, pero con mucho gusto, con mucho ánimo a empezar nuestras búsquedas. Desafortunadamente, ya esta es nuestra tercera visita que tenemos aquí a este estado, en donde hemos encontrado pues un sinfín de personas.
Hernandez always travels with volunteers who are in search of missing family members.
Este es mi hermano, yo soy Alejandro García. Ya llevo desde el 30 de mayo que perdí a mi hermano. Y pues fue como la forma de que la única persona que me pudo ayudar fue el señor Rafael.
Volunteers have either crossed the border themselves and are sympathetic, or are looking for someone. Miguel Jimenez was caught by the Border Patrol over 200 times crossing the U.S. Mexico border.
Mira que fue una oportunidad que me dio este país, gracias a Dios, que tuve la oportunidad en esas 200 veces que yo crucé las montañas en la frontera. Llegué un día a pensar, diciéndole a mis amigos, algún día me voy a hacerme ciudadano. Y me dijeron, tú estás loco, confórmate con que te des papeles.
But Jimenez did become a U.S. citizen. He was helped by local support groups that help illegal immigrants like him at the time take the steps needed to apply for a green card and residency.
Bueno, ya mis sueños ya se está realizando. Tengo mi familia, tengo un trabajo y creo que ya sí he logrado lo que tantas veces y tanto tiempo yo había pensado que es lo más importante. Y eso me ha motivado a ayudar más a la gente migrante, a ayudar a llevarles agua, a venir al rescate, porque no es algo fácil, es difícil estar soportando temperaturas de 120, 130 grados, a veces dejar a la familia sola cuando tú vienes a hacer un rescate, y es mucho difícil, pero lo disfruto mucho de estar ayudando a mi gente.
On March 29th, the group, fully equipped with food, shelter, and supplies, drives 7 hours from San Diego, California, where Hernandez is based, to Gila Bend, Arizona. resting where they can. Except for Hernandez, who stays up late studying maps, photos, faces, and details of lost migrants.
Y es nuestra mayor preocupación, primero que nada, identificar a esas personas, ponerlos en contacto con sus familiares y pues mandarlos a su lugar de origen. No importa que ya hayan fallecido o no importa que estén bajo tierra, pero para nosotros es bien importante el que se recuperen esas personas y se vayan a su lugar de origen.
At 6 a.m., Hernandez meets with others who seek his help. Cecilia Armenta, a 24-year-old Mexican-American from Arizona who is searching for her husband, Oscar. Armenta says her husband was denied a green card and deported after she says he was falsely accused of drug conspiracy. Determined to get back to his wife and one-year-old son, he tried to illegally re-enter the U.S. last January after paying smugglers, often referred to as coyotes, $1,900. She said she last heard from him on January 16th when he called her on his cell phone after the coyote abandoned him. She says he was lucky to even have reception, as he was miles from the nearest town, but she knew something was terribly wrong.
I could hear him having really a bad time breathing. I was like, "Are you dying, you know?" And he's like, "No." He's like, "I'm not dying. It's like, it's just my throat that I can't speak." And I said, "Where are you?" And he just kept saying, I'm here. And I'm like, "Where are you?" And he's like, "I'm just here."
She says he was very sick from walking in the cold for days. She tried to convince him to call Border Patrol while he had battery left on his cell phone, even if it meant getting arrested.
I was like, "Where are you?" He's like, "I'm out in the desert." And he said he was laying down and he was covered with blankets that they left for him. He's like, "Oh," and I said, "Don't move from wherever you are, because if I call Border Patrol right now and they're gonna go search for you, if you move, they're not gonna find you." And he's like, "No, I'm not gonna move from here." He was very, very sick.
This was the last time she ever heard from him.
Didn't know what to do. I was like, I called Border Patrol and they're like, "Tell him to dial 911. And that's what I kept repeating him, you know. I said, "Dial 911. And he's like, "No, I can't." And I'm like, "Why? Dial 911. And he just kept saying that he couldn't. It's really hard. I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know who to get help from, really.
But you want to hopefully find his body?
Yeah, that's what I want. Yeah. Because like right now, there's too many things that, you know, I think that could have happened to him. Who knows?
Hernandez is supported by those like the owner of Sophia's Diner, Hildy Gonzalez. He uses her diner as a refuge from the heat during hot summer nights when temperatures still linger at over 90 degrees. She says Hernandez gives her strength.
Pues lo que ellos estaban haciendo es algo pues muy bueno, que están ayudando a nuestros hermanos mexicanos de todos los países. Entonces pues decidí yo que vinieran aquí a comer, a descansar, y los hemos estado ayudando desde entonces. Lo que ellos hacen, arriesgan su vida para entrar al desierto, que nadie lo hace. Y cuando ellos regresan para acá están bien cansados, miras, da tristeza mirarlos cómo llegan todos cansados, casi sin poder caminar.
Whenever out near Gila Bend, Arizona, Gonzalez sends Hernandez and his team out with a full stomach and a prayer for their safe return.
Es un ángel él, y pues merece que lo ayudemos todos.
On the road again, we drive for 3 more hours, heading for a major crossing point for illegal immigrants. An area so dangerous, everyone in Hernandez's group wears an identifying T-shirt for safety, and I was asked to do the same.
Este caminito que está aquí va a dar todo atravesando el cerro hasta aquel lado. Se va todo derecho. Hola. Hola. Okay.
Here in 3 Points along the Arizona-Mexico border is one of the closest but most treacherous passages for crossing, also known as the Death Corridor. 15 miles of rugged desert terrain and extreme temperatures for those desperate enough led to 170 reported deaths last year. Death corridor within the Tohono O'odham Indian Reservation in Arizona stretches 4,500 square miles between the U.S. and Mexico. Like its name suggests, the terrain is unforgiving and the area is controlled by drug cartels. Hernandez says while the distance might not seem that great, walking it through rough terrain takes days, with the risk of being beaten or killed by the cartels. Hernandez himself was beaten severely by cartel members here last year and hospitalized for 11 days. He says rape and killing of women who have tried to cross the desert has been a huge problem. The U.S. Border Patrol, who he is in frequent contact with, reluctantly gave Cecilia and me permission to join the group. Eleazar and Cesar Lopez are hoping to find some clues here. The Lopez brothers are looking for their missing brother Jose, who crossed this desert last summer and never heard from him again. This is their 5th search in this desert.
Last day when he called me on August 22nd.
August 22nd, 2012.
Yes.
Eleazar, who drove 9 hours from Los Angeles, says his brother crossed dozens of times in the last decade without a problem. According to Border Patrol reports, in the last 15 years, over 5,500 illegal immigrants have been found dead along the nearly 2,000-mile border with Mexico. In 2012, the number of dead bodies found near U.S. border crossings nationwide totaled 463. 177 of those bodies were located in the Tucson sector. And Hernandez says those numbers are based on found bodies, but estimates that there are thousands of deaths each year.
Pero ya cuando estamos en pleno desierto, o donde hay montañas que son de piedra o que irradian el calor del sol, se concentra el sol en un puro lugar y hace que la temperatura sea mucho más alta. Y hemos tenido temperaturas hasta de 140 a 150 grados. Pero en el piso, o sea, en la tierra donde uno caminando, que es donde se concentra todo el poder del sol, la temperatura llega a tener hasta 170 grados.
Hernandez says dehydration is the biggest challenge. Oftentimes, coyotes tell people they'll only need a few bottles of water and it would be a day hike. In Cecilia's husband's case, he was told it would take 3 days when in fact it would take 5. Over the years, Hernandez and his team has laid thousands of gallons of water around the desert, hoping to extend the chance of survival of those who cross.
The last summer, we deployed water all around here. We put too many water, yes, the gallons of water. Maybe you go find too many empty gallons because we put a lot.
Just a distance of a few feet among the brush can make one invisible, making it easy to get lost. 2 of the members do not respond to the radio, and Hernandez signals everyone to get back together. After an hour, the 2 are still missing and do not respond to the radio.
Okay, voy a lanzar un cohete para que vean dónde estoy, okay? ¿Listo?
Hernandez runs back to his truck and drives until he can get into range.
I know my guys are prepared for everything, but anyway, when he don't respond, when I call the radio and he don't respond, it's maybe because he's fall down or maybe it's, something happened to him. And I need right away go pick it up. Every time we need to be prepared for something.
Eventually, he makes contact, gives them directions, and we wait for their return. After 2 days and 12 miles, it's apparent from the countless bones, bags, shoes, and articles of food and clothing that people have tried to cross here and have failed. Hernandez says he is looking for lost dreams in the desert.
People dead, I cannot see it. In this case, in this particular case, we're looking for somebody maybe dead. El sentimiento que tenemos aquí es pues, de mucha tristeza, ¿no? Porque sabemos que por aquí mucha gente ha muerto y lo difícil del terreno porque no tenemos mucha visibilidad. Hay muchas arbustos, muchas ramas que nos impiden tener una visión completa. Así es que tenemos que ir muy juntos. pero lo más triste es de que no encontrábamos unas pistas por donde la gente camina. Pero tenemos que darnos cuenta de que pues, es un área inmensa.
And for Cecilia Armenta, it is that perseverance to find her husband along this harsh and desolate landscape that she hopes will one day bring solace.
I would have something to tell my baby when he grows up, you know, that I did something for his dad. It brings peace of mind to me that, you know, being out here, it makes me happy. Even though I might not find anything, you know, but it's nice to be out here and be searching. I might not find my husband, but we can find anybody out here, you know, that's missing, and it will bring peace of mind to other families.
Our thanks to Ginger Vaughn for that report.